Shalom Aleichem, Andy.
Second.
Thank you. Aleichem Shalom.
Okay, we're on page 8. Middle of describing what's the Indian of the person knows that he exists, but it's that he's alive, but not like a behemoth. Behemoth doesn't really it's alive, but it doesn't really recognize and feels what highest means. A human being, the way he realizes his advantages as a living person, as a living thing, not just living, madaba. That's recognition. So it's page pay show maschas ha'adam, which is by a little more below half the page. So this is sorry. That's the way it is in the nefesh. Similarly, the in das and likus that the adam just like realizes the way it is the neshama gives him life. Same thing, the knowledge of likus, the das and likus, which is not just knowledge, hakor v'agosha. It's the recognition and the feeling how that creates the mile in the post. So that's the Kamoi. What is the Gimel Shonim? Hikir Avam is better. When the Gemara says when Shalosh Shonim Hikir Avam is better. What is Hikir? It's not just that he gained knowledge. It's not just Chitzonic knowledge. Hikir means Nishtanim Muslim Osachal Gamri. The hakor, the recognition, and the course transformed him into a different person. And he moved from his previous place. Yes, he left the path of his father of Terach, which is like we say in our God, and then he became a different person. So that's the akol. So similarly in our avodah, the meaning of das shalom doesn't mean just knowledge. The meaning of das, which I say, mahalach midaga ledaga. The not das means not just knowledge, but the recognition in such a way that it transformed the Eila midaga ledaga. Not only that, you ascend one step after the other without a limit, constantly in a state of ascent. We said that malachim are called imdim, but neshamas are called mahalchim. Why mahalch? Mahalch means that he's constantly in a movement going higher and higher. So that's why it says das alakevicha, which is das, and that means shalom. The avodah shebelev zut tefillah. Avdei means tefillah. And in that tefillah, aliyas ad nefesh daga daga ad v'reish magia shamayma. The ultimate concept of tefillah is stated in Shama is ascending from step to step till a shamayma. She'avodah from makif in the sham. It's also the liver. Just a shamayma here it means the concept of makifin, also the liba is the rotzen pasha shemaim tam v'das, shezepnes mahalach beilach ad and shir. That's the avodah of their belief of shalom. Because of the teir ba'bil v'at higdon. V'hu, so how do we get to the avodah of shalom? Alidei das and keruvich. So so we explained one point. It started talking about Adam yesh like das, right? So das means das is the union of a core. And in Avodas Hashem, it brings you to a state of mahalach, of Avodah B'digvul. We said also earlier that Akor, the bottom of page 9, Akor kilo royesh, shemakir sheroyesh musadovo, and he said, she's violent in the area. So then now he starts explaining what does it mean, what is Re'iyah. So he brings in discussion the difference between hearing and seeing. Person hears about some object. For example, he heard there's a beautiful painting somewhere. And someone describes to him how beautiful this site is. Then, after he hears about it, then he actually sees it. So the excitement, that's why the nature of the person, we like to go see things, see nature, see people go to see pictures. What is the idea? You heard about it, you know all about it, but seeing it is a different experience. It didn't add anything in actual knowledge. You knew all about all the things that you heard about now. You that you're seeing now, you heard about it. Nothing was there was no new knowledge that was added here. But still the seeing with his own eyes creates a different level of excitement because seeing the essence of the thing is something that you didn't reach before when you heard about it. Another point he says, when you see it, possible that you see you're drawn and connected so strongly to that object that you see actually never there's a kol hachoshim shalom. He loses himself. He loses all his senses. And no, it reminds me that they say that it says in the Frierdiker Rebbe stories that the Rebbe Rashab used to go to museums and look at things. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's connected. The idea that never when a kol hachoshim, that's a very strong statement. That when you see something exciting, you lose your senses. Not only the gamma shero okay, so that's one point. Never that's a kol hachoshim shalom. So drawn to it, you see something, you see yes, I mean, in our language, maybe you see a nice natural scenery or nice picture. Another point, something you hear about is easier to forget. Something you see stays in your mind stronger. You don't forget. Another point, means you cannot, when you see something, nobody can start arguing with you over it. That maybe it's not this. No, you saw it with your own eyes. There's nothing to argue about. So it's b'shmiya, when a person hears about something, understands the details, agam shemevin heitev mispal, he sees it and he's excited about it, is a nishkach mimenu. Could forget about it. Gam mekabel lamas v'sterim. What is this lamas v'sterim? He gives an explanation. I know in yom avias bil. Mishum inyan ze v'ze ein hayev kol kach mitzal netzadov. One person will tell you that there's this beautiful scenery in this particular place, and you didn't see it. And then a second person will explain to you that's it's not true. It's not so nice. So since you didn't see it, so the original excitement that was described by the first person, it can be dampen it because somebody explained to you. That it's not really as beautiful. So it means he loses his excitement. But when you see it, that he cannot hide it. All right, it's quite a richas here to describe what is the unique thing in koach hariyah. Similar to the way we describe the simple sight. Koach hariyah, stam riyah. So similar to what we said, there's also riyah sichos. I think Mr. says, he sees with his own eyes how, with his not his eyes, with his the eyes of the mind, with his mind eyes, he sees that something must come out of what's happening now. He figures out with his mind eyes that he figures with his mind's eyes how something is going to happen. So it affects his mind, and it affects his heart, moves him as if it's there already. The Oz are amazing the Oz are amazing since when the thing will actually we're talking about the situation, that when it's going to happen, it's going to change you. But because if a person has this ability to see with his mind's eye, he is convinced, he's totally sure to his mind's eye that this particular thing is going to happen. So even before it happened, because he sees with his mind's eye, it affects him, it moves him. כאשר רואה מאוס הדובר, מזכר את הדובר מאויד, אני שמרגש מאויד הדובר, כאילו כבר יש לו כן איזה פועל בעזוז הגדול. זה מחל, כשהדיע, זה הדובר רק הסוג השיח, לשמי שיקח הדובר, מרוחק ממנו, אני שאין נגש עצמם, שאין רואה מאוס הדובר, כן, אין לזה כך. אבל כאשר בריאס, אין השכל נגש את הדובר מאויד, אבל כן ניזת בנפש בעזוז הגדול. זה מחלק. This is actually what we spoke all along about the das and regular seichel. That if he figures out by saga, which I call it a formula, he figures out of his seichel, he must say that what's happening now is going to result in a day from now, something like it's going to happen based on that. So that understanding, if it's only just because he calls here one of our saga, it's only a certain type of formula in his mind that he figured out that he must say that this A will cause B. That doesn't create such a doesn't touch him that deeply, doesn't move him. If it's re'iyas ein seichel, which is a way of capturing the future in a way that as if he sees, as if it's happening now, then it does affect his mind, his personality. Okay, so Nizas with Nafsha Bazaz Agdol. This explains the Lashon Chazal and Pekah Avos is stakel b'shloish dvorim ve'en at the bottom of the Lashon is stakel. The Mishnah could have said, think. What is stakel? Stakel means look. What does it mean? It says. First is Ba'alamayim What does it mean? The reason the Mishnah uses the expression is stakel, because it means it's not just that you understand it, you see it with the mind's eye. If you just understand something, that's not going to move you, according to what he explains here. And if you stakel, if you see it with your mind's eye, concentrate, and you recognize the full power of the concept of the Ayin Roya, for example, that the Rebbe looks at you, Ayin Roya Veisen Shemas. So when you have that level of connection, as if you see it with your own eyes, then it's going to change you. You won't be able to do an Avera. I mean, the negative thing of it, we all experience. We know that the fact that we know that Ein Roya doesn't, I mean, it's not enough to make a statement, ain't at the body there Avera. So, but we have to look at the positive side also. That is stakel means this certain, the focus, I guess, and focus, concentration, recognize and really feel what's going on. For example, in this mission, the focus and the concentration, that makes a difference. That changes it. Okay, period. So we describe what Re'iyah is. In the Re'iyah, B'chinas Chachma. Answer to Re'iyah is connected to the Madriga, to this attribute of Chachma. For Shekotsuv, Vayar Reishis Loi. Interesting. So Ram is in a pasuk. Pasuk says Vayar Reishis Loi. So we see the Reishis, which is Chachma, is connected to Vayar, to Re'iyah. That's one point. Kamaima, there's another remez, but it's closer to the Eizer Chacham Aroye. Rosh Pasuk is Eizer Chacham Aroye Sanayla. Aroye. Shoroye Sagnel Nainoyesh. Okay, that's already a Chassidus Pshat. But the point by the Chacham is Shoroye. So the Chassidus says, Aroye Sanayla doesn't just mean you see the future, but also you see how everything is constantly created in Nainoyesh. But the key point word is Aroye. Chacham is connected with Roye, with see. But das, okay, now he's going back to what he said earlier, Chachma Bina. Das akor ke'ilo. So this between das and Chachma is das is Roya Mamish. And I'm sorry, Chachma is Roya Mamish. Das is ke'ilo. Like we said, page P, he said that Erzelika akor ke'ilo is if. Sees. So that's the difference Chachma and Das. And the Das Hamamutza Shemarav Chachma Bina, like we said earlier, Das is also, in addition to what we explained till now, that Das means Hakol of Argosha, that also Mechaber Chachma Bina. How? Eine Shagam Bebina Madregas HaChachma. Das does is that even a person is a level of Bina, Mati, can you put yourself on mute, please? So,
sorry. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I'm sorry, I have a question. That pay you just mentioned, like Kilu Raya, what's the Rashi Tavis? The Gila and Shalom me Gimel Aleph. Is it Gan Eden? Is it a mistake?
No, it's Gila Elikus. Yeah, it's a very, it says not
Gila Elikus. Okay, thank you.
It's like a
okay, interesting.
Uncommon Rashi Tavis.
Right.
I don't know, yesterday I was telling myself, it's interesting to okay.
Thank you.
So here he explains why. What does it mean that Das is v'mutzam and chachma ubina? Das, what Das does is that even in bina should also be chachma, which means shay Das v'akol mashaboy de'asoga, because Das is already in the next step. The chachma is just you see it. It's like a spark, like a lightning. You recognize something, but that's before, like Steve explains, before you really digest and understand and analyze it. Then comes Bina, which is the analysis. In order to reach Das, you must go to Bina. You have to analyze it well in order to really understand, to really recognize. You have to what's the word? You have to understand it well in order to recognize. So where Das comes after Bina. שהדס והקור, מה שבא לידי הסוגה, ובזה הקור היא כאילו but the הקור is כאילו the הקור means as if you reach the level of חוכמה, הרי שזה שבבינה גם הדרגת החוכמה. So what Das does that in the level of Bina, which is already the analysis stage, should also have that way of perception, like seeing as if seeing of Chachma, then eventually you reach the actual Riyah of Chachma, through the Hakora, it's like a cycle. Through the Hakora, when you really...
This is a new thing in Das, it's not so common.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole Hamshach and Ekta about Das. We didn't learn it. Maybe you'll learn it one day. Most places Chassidus don't talk so much about Das. So, there's a new point in Das. The Das is, it says, Das is that Madriga that takes the Havana to such a level that it's Ke'ilah, and you reach the real sight. What he described earlier, what sight means, that as if he sees it, it's so ingrained in his mind that it as if he sees something which moves him. It touches in such a way that it moves him. Like Avram Avinu, that Iker is Beirik.
But the statement
The
that is
Nakuda
saying
is that
that I'm sorry, the statement that is saying that that the Chokhmah should be in the level of Bina. Yeah, that's what it's saying. The Das is something that understanding the Chokhmah should be in the Bina, correct?
Yeah. Chokhmah
So,
unites in Bina. Yeah.
But this is already, the Bina is before the Das. In other words, Bina is already should be in that state before we get to the Das. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the Das,
Yeah.
so I'm saying the Das is what's in here should be something beyond that. It's already, because Bina already knows, is in more or less understanding and expansion of the Chachma. So,
but the problem with Bina is that's a saga. Bina is like, it's shmir. Bina means I understand, I analyze it, but I don't really. It's like Bina is similar to shmir. Which shmir means, like we said earlier, it's something that you can forget. You can hide it. You can argue back. Because Bina is analysis, the stage of analysis. We analyze something that it can be argued back and forth. But then we have to understand it well in such a way that you reach the core that makes the understanding as if you see it. That means that the Chachma is Nimshach Bina.
this is the Das itself. This is not, you know what I'm saying? So the effect.
The Das.
You know, I'm sorry. So this is the Das, but not that the effect of it is in the Bina. That's the problem. You know what I'm saying? The effect of Das is by itself.
Okay, but Das is a result. I hear what bothers you. That the Bina, yeah, but the thing is that, but Das means that the Bina takes you to a core. The Bina where Bina stays Bina, but the Bina reach through Das, they have the saga that you reach to Bina. Then when you got Das, so then the Hasaga reaches a deeper level. So Bina is Bina, you're right, but in the level of Das, the Bina reaches a higher level of Akor. In other words, it's the Bina the way it's in Das.
Yeah, he's saying it, שהרי הדס והקורא הוא במה שבו על ידי הסוגיה.
Exactly. The Das is this next step after Bina. So the understanding that you reach to Bina now brings you to a state of Akor. Okay, I understand, Abdani, what you mean. The Bina itself stays where it is. That's true, probably. But Das is already the next level. Das takes the Bina and brings the Chachma into the Bina.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's okay. Upon him. So going back, so this discussion about Das, what was it? Because we said that Adam zel inyan zera Adam sheyesh lahem Das. Taina kol kiloroi. Shadezeh misalim bila adin shir. The whole discussion started as zera Adam zera beima. Was it in Adam and beima? Adam yesh le Das, beima ein le Das. So he says that Adam means somebody who reaches the state of Das, which is such a hakor v'agosha that reaches ila acharila. Behema means that it's only instinctive, which is similar to Hasaga. It means you only have the limited reach to an understanding and feeling godliness. Shekin Adam yesh le Das, he reaches a deeper state that he captures the essence. Mainly is misaydes in avoda, but salni bili acharila arin shir. Then he brings in another discussion in what we just said. It jumps to another point about Adam. There is an Adam beim. The Ine, another point. Atzilus Niko Adam. You know that Olam Atzilus is called Adam al shem adam eliyim. Okay, we learned those all arichas in Samach Vav, in a Chedesh Samach Vav, which is like in a way the core of Samach Vav. He talks about Atzilus is called Adam eliyim. The reason, in other words, the reason that Atzilus is called Adam, the standard understanding of Adam Shalakise, Adam, why Atzilus is called Adam? Because Adam is the tzil of the essence sphere, is called tzil Adam. That is a simple understanding. There's a deeper understanding why Atzilus is called Adam, because Adam eliyim, because it resembles the Madrega, which is above Atzilus. Adam means I resemble Eliyim, which is above Atzilus. What he explains. Atzilus gile elemeres of Hamatz. Atzilus is not just, it's not like a new creation. Bria is creation, yesh me'ayin. But Atzilus means, well, in English, Atzilus, emanation, which means it's an expression of the Ein Sof, which is above Atzilus. It's gile elem. When something new is created, means it's different. It's essentially something different. It's a creation of something separate, different. When you say reveal the hidden, it means it means whatever was there, it was hidden, now it's revealed, but it's not changing. It's the same thing. So the yachas of Atzilus to above Atzilus is like Gilehel. So it brings in a whole dogma. We see, but the Losh Atzilus, K'moy Atzilus, Ruach Shel Moshe al Ayin Ish Haskein. So the union of Atzilus, where do we find it in Chumash? Only one place. But the Eibush that tells Moshe Rabbeinu, but Asfali Shivi Mishnu Ziknei Yisrael, but Salti in the Ruach HaSholech of Samti Aleim. So but Salti says, it's what Pshat, Ariza Aor Mamash Ruach Shel Moshe, she's a clue Tchil Ruach Shel Moshe, and it's called Me'elam Al-Agila. So what happened here, that spirit of Moshe that the Eibush that took, and what Salti, Samti Aleim, it's not something new that happened here. It's the revelation of what existed in Moshe. So now is Machadash thing that I don't remember such a chidush that Skeni of attack it's close to the level of Moshe. The Gemara says Kol Anevim Nisnava B'Koi, Moshe Nisnava B'Zeh. Says Kol Anevim Nisnava B'Koi. All the rest of the Nevim said Koi Amar Hashem, which is mean Koi means like this. Moshe said Zeh Adovo. This is what the Eibush said. So the Gemara describes the difference between the voice of Moshe and all the rest of the Nevim. Aval Askenim Ein Mechal Kol Anevim. Because of Bakamach. That's an interesting.
Why? How do you see that?
Because it says Nevim, doesn't say Askenim. That's his deal. The Skenim, the Mishnah is Machal the Gemara is Machal in the Moshe and the rest of the Nevim. Not Machal the Moshe and the Skenim. So from this he learns, it's explained in another place, that Moshe and the Skenim in a way were on the same level.
Maybe the Skenim are Bichlal Kol Anevim.
He says clearly, Skenim Einam Bichlal Kol Anevim. The Mishnah says, a Moshe and Masal and Nevim and the Skenim. Skenim and Nevim are two different things. It could have it's a deal. It's an interesting deal. You're right. It says maybe in that other place. Maybe I'll look it up. It's interesting. Maybe in another place, in the other place, it explains why is Medayik Skenim is not Nevim. That's obviously that's the deal. The Lashon is Kol Anevim Nisnava B'Choy. Moshe Nabi says Skenim are not Einam B'Chal Nevim. That's it.
In Pashtus, Skenim are lower than the Nevim.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. The Pashtus, you're right. But okay, but he says a no threat. Maybe maybe it doesn't go to take 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
But this is the Kenim that time of Moshe, so not the Kenim that we say today is a Zaken.
In the Skenim, it's not the same Skenim that's mentioned in Mishnah. Mishnah says Nevim L'Skenim. So But the Lashon Skenim, it says in the Tanakh, in Yeshua, Skenim shiur b'mei Yeshua. So there is a concept like that. One second. Let me see, where is this?
Skenim shiur b'mei Yeshua, there were in a
Oh, it says,
very high level.
I'm wrong. Moshe Masal Yeshua Skenim was Skenim Nevim. No, I'm wrong. Skenim come before Nevim. So we see clearly that Moshe, I forgot the Lashon Mishnah. The Mishnah is Masal Yeshua, Yeshua Skenim was Skenim Nevim. So you see clearly from that Skenim is a step up before Nevim. It means the Skenim are higher than Nevim. Yeah, it's interesting. It's I mean, according to this mission, it's also the mashma that the Skenim is a madrega above Nevim. So according to that understanding, we can say that the Skenim ain't Nevim. The B'meila, when you say Netzal, that there was a Tzilus of Moshe and Skenim, it's Gila Elim. Nevim is the Shalai Be'erach. By Shenk and Skenim. Skenim is another word. One second. Let's see here. Okay. Actually, yeah. That's Skenim Hanad. So the whole thing with Skenim Nevim is just to prove the point that Atzila Socha Shel Moshe al Skenim is not Shalei Be'erach. It's only Gila. Maybe we see that the word Atzilus means Gila. Moiken in Atzilus similar, but we're telling here, which is Olam HaAtzilus. The Gila main Prince the Zayn Adam Elin, Shazeh Prince Atmos Amatzil, Atzilus Adam Elin. You say Atzilus is called Adam Adam Elyon, it resembles the Elyon. That means the Elyon means above Atzilus because it's in Atzilus is the Gilu of the Madrega which is above Atzilus. It's Gilu El Agam the Ak Nika. Okay, so there's a question. Agam the Ak Nika Gam Ken Adam the Bria the Chol Shebein Arech ve'ech Atzilus zefnes Asir Chol zefnes Adam Elyon. Here is a question. We learned earlier in this Maimah also that the Elam is Bia Klolim. In this, no, not in this Maimah, before. Bia Klolim. The Bia Klolim, he said, oh, yeah, 1 second. Was it here? Right in the beginning of this. In the beginning of this Maimah, he spoke about Nakudim Abudim, he said that's Bia Klolim. What V'yak Klolim? Bria is Adam Kadman. Yitzira is Nakudim, and Natzilus is Budim. Sorry. So the Adam Kadman is Bria, and Nakudim is Yitzira, and Natzilus is Asir. So Eich Atzilus is the Prince Atzilus Chosmos Adam Elel. How can he say that Atzilus, Elam Atzilus, is Adam Elel is like resembles? It means it's the madrega above it, which is Ak and Nakudim. That is Bria and that's Asir. Asir and Bria Shlei Be'erach.
What is Be'ein Aroich?
What?
Ak נקראו גם כן עולם בבריאה לכלולו שבאין ארויך. What is באין ארויך? What is באין ארויך?
Yeah, it's a good question. What it means באין ארויך? What it means to say is באין ארויך, that שבאין ארויך לגבי אסיר. That's what it means. לפי המשך עניין, it means באין ארויך, it's higher than אסיר. That's what it means. Like in other places in Chassidus, it describes a Bria and Asiya Shalei Be'erach. Remember, Bria is a Chaimer Yuli, and Asiya is a much lower level. So I think Shebein Aroich means that Shalei Be'erach higher than Atzilus. I think that's pshat. Or Inyan knows, so the answer to that is the Eres that Atzilus Meim Amor, אז הכלים, גם כלים דאגים בין העריך. So I'm not sure what בין העריך. What in העריך?
It seems like it's, if I may suggest, he's saying because he's saying that Adam the Beria also the Adam Kadam Nikra Gamken Adam the Beria. Yeah, so because also called Adam, and then we have also that Asilut also called Adam. We had that before. So it's saying that the Enaroch, the Ina Asilut also the few lines above, the Asilut Nikra Adam, Arshim Adam Elium. And here he's saying that Adam Kadam Nikra Gamken Adam the Beria Dichlalo. But he's saying Ben Aroch, these two is not the same level. So those two, even though they both call Adam, but they're not, they're Ben Aroch.
Maybe the Be'en Aroich is not לגבי הסיר, nor Be'en Aroich לגבי higher.
Might have Kamina, yeah, it's possible. Might have to find the here.
No, because he's saying B'chinas
No
HaKelim.
question. Here's a question. The question is, Eich Atzilus Chnas Adam Elel. Oh, maybe that's what it means. Oh, maybe that's what it means. Because alien, okay, maybe, oh, you're right. Maybe you're right. Okay, so I didn't understand. So, alien means Atzmos Hamatzil. Adam Chnas Atzmos Hamatzil means what we call I'm sorry, so I misread what it says. So Adam Elelin doesn't just mean Adam at the Madriga above Atzilus. Adam Elelin means that it's Medame. The alien means Atmos Hamatzil. What we call Eretz of Shlifnei Atzimtz. Agam, if you Ak Nika Gamken Odom the Briosh, the Chlolosh Be'ein Aroich. Ak is called Odom the Briosh. It's called Echat. So Adam Elelin. Even Ak is called Brio, which is Be'ein Aroich to the Eretz of Shlifnei Atzimtz. Some Atmos Hamatzil. So Ak and Atzilot be called Adam Elelin. Even Ak is called Brio. Which means it's removed. So Bein Arich. Yeah, you're right. That's shot. Bein Arich. Look at the Madriga of Atmos Hamaitz. Agam the Aknik Agam the close Bein Arich. Look at the Atmos Hamaitz. See this. You can Adam Eleli. How can it? How is it possible that Silus, which is that Sia the Chlos, is considered Adam? It's only Gila Elam of Atmos Hamaitz, which is the Yosef Shlif Natzimtzum. How is it possible that Silus should be called Adam Eleli? But even Ak is called Bria, which is Bein Arich. You know, the answer number one is the Eires that Atzilus in main number. So there's two parts in Atzilus. There's the Eires and the Kelim. The Eires are main number. Chnas Kelim, Gam Kelim Dagam in Aroich. We say it's Bein Aroich, that's talking about the Kelim. So the Kelim of Ak and Asiyah, that's like a Shloi Berech. That's like Bein Aroich. It's not Gilei Elam. But the Eires, that's answer number one. That the reason we call Atzilus Gilei Elam because the Eires of Atzilus are Ein Amoyer, which means they reflect the essence of Maitz of Shlifnei Atzimtz.
So Ak, when he's saying that Ak is Be'en Aroich L'gabei L'maylo, it's talking about the Kelim, not L'gabei the Eires.
Exactly. That's answer number one. But MS says Gamma Kelim that's it. Sometimes even the word Adam Atzilus applies to Kelim also. No, was actually Zel Gapnes Ak. The alien in the Kelim, the alien in the Eires means the Eires of that was Amatzi. And the alien in the Kelim means Ak. So Biachas to Ak is Adam Elyon. The Kelim of Atzilus Adam resemble the Kelim of Ak. I told you, this whole concept is discussed in Samachvor. You do the Aknigo Gamkon stuff. In other words, some relative to the law of Madrigas, Ak is also called Ein Sof, which is the Matz. The Matzel means
but Ak is called Odom the Brio.
Yeah, but it says Nika Gamken Ein Sof. Okay, sometimes it's called Odom the Brio, and sometimes it's called Ein Sof. All right, see, but okay. So he brings a few. So to summarize what he said here was, he wants to explain. He's explaining how how the two madrigas of how Atzilus is Gile Ha'elim. So it's Gile Ha'elim of the Atzmos HaMatzil, which we call Eretz Avshat Tzimtzum. How is it possible? Because the Eretz of Atzilus, the Eretz, first of all, are direct expression of the Eretz Avshat Tzimtzum. B'meile, it's Adam El. That's point number one. But to get to the Kanim of Atzilus, it's also an expression of the Kanim, the Ak, which is also inside. Nimtza, the Chlolos, Prinas Atzilus, Prinas Adam El. So B'meile, Atzilus is in the state of Adam. We're in the process of explaining what is Zera Adam, right? Or the get of Adam. So Adam is Adam El. Adam means that it really expresses the alien, the madrega which is above everything, the atzon samatz, or when I get to the Kanim, the Ak. So that is the madrega of Atzilus. Lachen gam Atzilus b'chinas Ein Sof. Atzilus has within it the infinity of the Ein Sof. The essence first, the Atzilus, where do we see it? We see it that essence first, Atzilus Ein Sof is pashtus. Essence first, the Atzilus have this quality, the Ein Sof is pashtus, which because we say for Yitzir, we do some Esa she'en lahem sof. That's the expression Sefer Tzir. We do some Esa. On one hand, they're 10, but she'en lahem sof. They also have the quality, the infinite. So that aspect of Atzilus that has also the infinity that applies to the Kalim also. I know liyos the Atzilus Adam Elel as if sof. So that's step one. So we understand why Atzilus is called Adam, Loshna Adam El, and is the expression of Ein Sof. Remember,
what about SL?
What?
What about SL? Saying Ein Sof is
that's the next line. Then you talk about in a second. But so it's what he said before that a different Adam or Behema is that Adam can reach. What do we say? That we spoke about Adam and Avodah. And Adam means it can reach Mahalach Bli Gvul. It can reach the highest level. Also, a lot of examples. The concept of Adam versus Be'ema. Adam represents that you reach a level which is above the limitation, above the constraints and definitions of Ishtalshalos. That's what he's talking about.
This is because it's a different neshama. It's a neshama the Atzilus, so even a neshama the Bria could reach this level. Look,
in the beginning of the Maya spoke the difference in neshama the Atzilus and neshama the Bria. But then he said that even remember he said Zera Adam, Zera Behema. He said that the it sounds like that's like the neshamas the Atzilus they can reach, but then he said that everybody can reach a certain level of this also. He started talking about.
He's talking about Vela Mishpatim Mishpatosim Lifneim, that there is Zera Adam, Zera Behema, and this is what Moshe has to do to take care of neshamas the Bia, to have Zera Behema. So maybe through Moshe, it's good.
Yeah, okay, that's possible. But, okay, that's what it says in the Maimon on the Mishpatim. That the Mamshach and Zera Behema also the Adam. Okay, that's already okay. So that's what he spoke about the avodah of Adam, Zera Adam. So now in this point in the Maimon, talk the name of Adam Lamayla in Madrigas in the Elam Selyanim. So that the concept of Adam is Atzilus, which Atzilus is Gila Elam, which means it reaches, it reveals, it expresses the Ein Sof, which is above Ishtalshalos. Why there was an Esosphere? The answer, Agbola de Atzilus. Zeo, Shach Shnimda Davar Achar Amoida Deisa. Okay, so a few ways to understand the word of the Davar Amoida. So it means it's not really a real Medida. It's only Medida. Sometimes Chassidus talks about Akbala Atzilus. Here it says that it's a little different view. It's Alidover Achar Amoida Doisa. What's meant us that it's the Medida is Yachas to the Makabel. brings a raya kamei beriyos. It means from the perspective of the Makabal, it's limited, but they themselves are unlimited. So it brings a raya, which says when they get the area, Shmoina ve'esim bo'amo. Why doesn't it say Shmoina ve'esim amos? Shmoina ve'esim bo'amo. What's the difference? It says La'ira shebe'etzem b'gvul. Hakshanim dodim al the area is be'etzem ad madrig of bligvul. It's not infinite. But through Amma, which is an outside measuring device, that can measure them, but they themselves are obligable.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
In other words, it's saying I'm trying to understand if it's saying that it is believable, but if you want to measure it, the way to measure it, the tool to measure it is the ammo.
Not just ammo. It's Shemona Vesem. In other words, the Makabel gets only a part of it, but the thing itself is infinite. Okay, this is 1 second. Let me just finish the line. We'll start this thing tomorrow again. Let's just finish the line. Because we got tear the beard of Livaftin. So in Nikotethera, he explains this point that it's bligvul, but there's an outside measure that measures it. That's it. Yeah, that's that.
Yeah. Good to be back.
Rakshanim, that is meaning that it can be measured. Welcome back, Mandy.
Thank you. I think you left already. Okay. So
That's all right. It's okay.